Christy, is a first-time visitor, and I always like putting first-time visitors on the spot so they have no idea what to do. And so let's do this community introduction.
Our speaker today is Jay Cooper, and he is a serial entrepreneur, and one of the main things I learned from him, which I thought was kind of interesting, is he has this, it's like a website where he has, you can look up for cider and everything like that. So, I mean, I'm sorry if I'm getting
That's okay, I'll explain it.
All right, very nice, very nice. Let's give Jay a big round of applause. Have fun, buddy. 1 million cups DSM. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Let's get this guy some noise as well.
So, hello everyone. How's everyone doing today? Let's see if this, maybe,
Turn it on.
maybe.
Turn the clicker on.
It's not on. What kind of place is this? There we go. Maybe, maybe.
All right.
Hey, it's working. How is everyone doing this morning?
Great.
Excellent. So, I'm here. I'm mostly going to be talking about this app I'm developing called Cider Finder, which we started talking about in the introduction. I'll be talking about a couple other things toward the end of the presentation, but let's talk about Cider Finder first. So, how many in this audience that are of age to be drinking things like cider have had hard cider or enjoy hard cider? It's a lot of people. And believe it or not, it's a $2 billion industry that really has no good way of advertising right now. Like, you go on Google to try to find a certain type of cider, you're going to get the big brewery stuff. You're going to get the Anheuser-Busch. You're going to get the Miller Coors stuff. All the things that tend to be carried in any grocery store you would go into. But it's rather limiting in an industry that in the next 5 years is going to be up to $10 billion. Seems crazy. It's just word of mouth. You have to know about these places in order to find these ciders. If you don't know about a certain cider, you don't know about a certain cider maker, you're never going to find out about it, and you're missing some awesome stuff. There has to be a better way to connect cider drinkers and cider makers in this massive market. So I present Cider Finder. It's an advertising platform, will be an advertising platform for the cider makers and sort of an online tap list, updated tap list for them. And then for cider enthusiasts, it'll be a way for them to find all the ciders that they've ever wanted and more. So we're currently developing this. We've developed a little bit of it and kind of figured out what our screenshots are going to be, but you'll be able to, as a cider enthusiast, fill out your preferences, tell us, do you like dry ciders? Do you like sweet ciders? Do you like ciders that have a certain type of berry in them? You'll be able to put all that information in. What Cider Finder will then do for you is it will take that information and based on our database, it'll ping you and say, hey, there are a couple cideries near you. Like if you're traveling somewhere, it'll say, X cidery has a cider you might like, or Y cidery has this cider that may interest you. For the cider producers themselves, they will be able to manage their information, update their information, because let's be honest, the websites that they have right now, if you can even find them, are terrible. Some of them don't even work. That's not benefiting them, it's not benefiting cider consumers. So like I've been talking about, it's a two-sided market. For those of you that are learning about markets and those sort of things, you have your cider consumers. It'll be free to use on their part. They'll be able to do what they need to do. For the cider producers, and eventually we're going to expand this to bars and possibly large cider festivals, they will pay a monthly fee. We're pricing it out at $50 a month. And with that, they will be able to update their information as much as they want. They'll be able to run a limited number of advertisements. If they want to run more advertisements in the app, they will be able to pay an extra fee to us. Some point down the line, we may offer for the cider consumers a paid version to kind of cancel out those ads. So we'll see where that goes. We'll see what kind of demand we get. So there are a few cider apps out there, but most of them either are for a specific festival or they're for an international audience. they're not really doing any good for people here in the US. And a lot of people have asked, well, what about Untapped? What about all these beer apps that are out there? From our customer discovery, we found that people who are really enthusiastic about cider don't tend to be nearly as enthusiastic about craft beer, and they think these, people call them beer apps, they think they're just for beer. They have a lot of the ciders on them, but again, they're just too cumbersome. People don't want to use them. The great thing about this is you can expand Cider Finder to essentially any other craft beverage. You could have Whiskey Finder, you could have Soda Finder for craft sodas as that's coming up. You could have Wine Finder. You could even narrow it down to a specific type of wine or a type of whiskey or that sort of thing. We're also planning eventually to expand outside the US. Like Great Britain, Australia, New Zealand, they have much larger cider markets, and some of the apps that are out there are specifically for those markets. We're hoping as we grow and we get our name out there, we'll be able to expand into those markets. So the rest of my team couldn't be here today. They are actually all from Fairfield, which, if you don't know, it's just kind of southwest, about an hour and a half southwest of Iowa City, where I'm from. We actually started this project at a startup weekend, and I'm going to be talking about Startup Week in Iowa City here in just a few minutes. We put together this app because they had a real love for cider, because for whatever reason, Fairfield has 2 cider makers just in Fairfield. They've got Jefferson County Cider Works, and they have the Cider House. Put out amazing cider if you ever get a chance to have either of those. They love cider. I originally wanted to do something beer related, but that market's already full. So we thought, well, during Startup Weekend, we thought, well, why don't we switch this to cider? So I've got great guys on the team. Kevin is our UX and our guy that's putting together the look and feel of the app. Ty Ward is our programmer. He does app development, so he is definitely helping me out with that stuff. And Lee Ross he's just charisma. The guy is amazing. So if you get a chance, check out our website. It's ciderfinder.co. We've also got a Facebook and a Twitter account. Just to keep up to date, we're hoping to launch this thing mid-September. It's currently in development, but we're getting closer and closer and closer to that mark of finally having something out there for people to use. So you can go to our website. If you sign up, give us your email address, you'll be the first to know when the app is available. So my ask, like I just said, go ahead, sign up. We don't have a newsletter yet, but it's in the works. It'll go much further beyond just, here's what our app's doing. It'll go into cider news and different flavors, maybe even have a cider maker of the month. And we'd love more contacts of people that have some sort of connection to cider. Liquor laws are kind of stupid, so some states, they are considered a wine, some states they're a beer, some states they're kind of their own thing. If you have any connections that has any sort of connection to cider making, I'd love to hear from you. So that's Cider Finder. Thank you very much.